Hey guys, and welcome back to another League of Legends video. So today is quite the juicy video as we're going to be looking at Riot's actual secret first game ever. As you guys know, Riot has a few games centered around specific types of people in a very specific type of genre. Now, it just all happened within a year, but we got an FPS tactical shooter, we've got a card game, and much more. But it was only a few years back, and by few years, I mean it was literally only 2 years back, that it was only League of Legends. But what was their first game after League of Legends? It wasn't Astro Timo or Cho'Gath Eats the World, but they actually had a brief time when they offered a game called League of Legends Turret Defense. Now, if you haven't heard about it, I wouldn't blame you because I didn't really hear about it until research in this video. All the way back in 2010, Season 1 of League of Legends, they initially tried to make this game in order to promote their PC game by reaching out to phone users and attempting to build a brand around the League of Legends name. Now, personally, I'm pretty fond of tower defenses and used to own an iPod, and back in the day, they were chill, no pressure. I was still a kid, having a lot of fun with these basic tower defense games. And ultimately, League of Legends was one of them. I personally never came across it on my iPod Touch, which is unfortunate, but it was released on December 23rd, 2009 on the App Store for free. League was heavily influenced by the Dota mod in Warcraft, as most of you know, and another mod they wanted to take inspiration from was their tower defense mod. Now you might be asking, what was this game like? And we have a little bit of footage and some screenshots, and man, it's just insane to actually see this. I've never seen this until now, and looking at it kind of left me in awe. It's quite amazing. But anyways, League of Legends Tower Defense has more in common with one of the blockbuster tower defense titles on iPhone, Field Runners, where enemies move from one end of the field to the other end, and the player's job would be simply to construct paths with turrets of different kinds to ultimately funnel them to their demise. However, going down that free path may have been something to do with how unpolished the game was. There had seemed to be no stats or no info on how much damage any type of turret can cause, and what are the effects of upgrading them was kind of left up to just guessing. There's also no telling what type of opponents will be coming in each and every wave. Now, to be fair, it was a free game in 2009, but even in that time and it being free, it was still a little bit of a hit or miss and kind of an unpolished mess. Now, ultimately, it was released on iOS and remained faithful to the fundamental principles of a tower defense genre game. The goal is to defend the base against enemy units. The player does this by creating various watchtowers on their way. For each killed enemy, we received money, which we then spent on building new turrets and improving those that were already placed. Now, don't get me wrong, this game was heavily branded for League of Legends as that was the main point of the application. We had art style that matched the old art of League of Legends to make people feel right at home, and they even had random champions be a part of the enemy waves to attack your main base, just for that little added bonus, right? You'll know you're playing League of Legends when Annie strolls up to attack you in a tower defense game. Jumping through a time machine and going back, I want to share a Reddit thread. Now, this was only 4 years ago, but this Reddit thread was about someone who played the game and then kind of described their experience. And then we had a lot of replies and various comments of other people who actually played the game, which is kind of mind-blowing. Since League of Legends was just released when this game was coming out, it was amazing to see how fast it begun to build a community. But anyways, I want to pop up this Reddit post by Saint Rick, and I'm going to read you out his experience with League of Legends Tower Defense. Going through my purchase history from my Apple account, I downloaded, it was a free by the way, the game on the 5th of October 2012. I used to play it from time to time when I was really bored. My high score is 436,790, wave 101, for my iPhone 5S at least. Old phone data, high scores were lost. The game has not been updated for a very long time. It still has the iPhone 4S screen resolution, so it looks really weird on newer devices. Wave 101 was the maximum I could ever get. I reached it 5 times and never managed to get to 102. It is fun, however. It is always the same and does not really bring any interesting aspects to it as you get to higher waves. The UI and map is still based on the old Summoner's Rift and brings back some good memories, but that's basically basically it. The rest of the game speaks for itself. Defend your base, place some turrets, and let them kill the minions and sometimes champions. I guess what truly surprised me is not only did people play it, but we had people playing up to wave 101 multiple times. It's just mind-blowing. Not only did people play it, but they played it like more than once. They didn't just download it, say, okay, this is weird League of Legends, and get rid of it. Nope, they kept playing. And this isn't a one-off story. We have a Reddit comment by Udin Boucher, sorry for butchering the name, where he said, or she said, I used to play this back in the day and I had basically the same experience you described. I still remember the difficulty drastically increased after wave 100, and I think I was even able to beat wave 102 once. Last Reddit comment I'm gonna read is by Lucan, who says, yeah, it was definitely broken. You got to lay out the territory how you wanted and you could edit the level mid-fight. Basically, you just made a long path left and right that would make the ground minions walk through. When they reached the end, you blocked it off so they had to go around the other side and you kept juggling them. In the middle, you had to have all your crazy strong weapons that dealt with flyers because they couldn't be hard CC'd. Basically, it was survive until you get the shape of your territory down, and then you are invincible until an unbeatable fight wave came, and that unbeatable wave I guess seemed to be around 101. So yeah, this game not only existed, but we have proof of players who experienced it and have thorough memories, which is kind of mind-blowing. So the only real question left is, why didn't Riot follow through? Riot Games engaged in Orange Lab Studio to develop the game. The finished production hit iOS at the end of 2009 and was warmly received by players, but less than a year later it disappeared from the App Store and no one could get it anymore. The reason was a conflict with the developer. The brand owner then promised that he would try to release League of Legends Turret Defense again in the future, but ultimately nothing ended up coming of it. So the game fell through because of this, but there are also other factors. The mobile market back in the day had very low traffic as people still haven't adapted to the age of smartphones yet. Weird to think now that almost everyone not only has a phone, but understands the concept of League of Legends. I mean, we have League of Legends Wild Rift around the corner, and people understand it, people are ready and hyped to play, and that's full-fledged League of Legends on our phone. Yet back then, basic games like Jetpack Joyride and various others were not only mind-blowing, but a lot of us were still adapting to playing it. I mean, do you remember, what's that game called? Unblock Me? I loved that game, okay? And my first full-fledged game that I really loved was Plants vs. Zombies, but that came much later anyways. And yeah, the mobile market has very much developed, maybe even took a turn for the worse if you have my opinion, but tech keeps evolving and we're gonna see where it goes. But anyways, I commend Riot for being so ambitious back in 2010 and going for such a game so early. It is their very second game that was kind of a secret and no one really knew about. And it's just mind-blowing. I mean, all right, I don't want to drag this on more than I need to, so the video is kind of over, but I want to say one last thing. We had 2010, a small company, Riot Games, League of Legends, and a very tight-knit community. There was this MOBA that was a spin-off of Dota that people started really liking, and nothing else. And we had nothing, right? We had very basic games. Some mobile brought like some mobile mini games over the year, and then in the last year, Riot just took everything, right? They just went from just League of Legends fully developed and still being updated regularly, and it's huge and one of the biggest free games ever. It's just having like Valorant and Teamfight Tactics and Runeterra, and it's just insane, right? Like when I look at this app, 2010, this dinky little app, and I now see where Riot is today, kind of crazy. Amazing, and I really want to look into more of Riot's stories, stuff that are a little bit less unknown, or sorry, a little bit less known, and kind of uncover some secrets or dive into some deep history. And if you guys are interested in that, let me know by hitting that like button, leaving comments down below. And yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.